Steve, this is Off the Tailgate, Season 2, Episode 1. How are you doing?
Well, I'm getting ready in case they try to take Nico.
That's hilarious. We protect Nico at all costs.
That's right.
So all right. So if you guys don't already know, there has been some kerfluffles going down over at the University of Tennessee. So to illustrate what's going on is, yesterday the NCAA said that what Tennessee might be under investigation, or NIL investigation, for the recruitment of Nico Amaleava, or Nico. And by the way, it's really funny how they do this after Nico scores, most ever freshman ever has in a bowl game. Anyway, they said that, and then Donde Plowman comes out with that scathing letter and says everything on the sun. Talk about real quick while I find out what she said.
Well, the thing about it, you touched on it. Would they or wouldn't they have not been doing anything about this if Nico hadn't showed out in the bowl?
Bingo.
I mean, makes you go, huh, for sure. And I know I'm battered vols syndrome, I guess you call it. But I watch and see how that it seems like that we get hammered. Now you realize that if we can, there's going to be 12 slots, but there are people already fighting for their conference to make that 10, 11, 9, 10, 11, 12 slot. Yes. I mean, they're really bucking for that. So I wondered, here we had Ole Miss in particular beat, the NIL. I mean, we see them just going crazy. Yes. And now all of a sudden, it's about us. Is it about us and NIL? Because I seen where we was the best in the country at it set up the best. Right. And I even heard that it was the example.
Yes.
Of the
of how they want it set up. So if
other people setting up.
Yeah. Right. So Spire Sports is our collective, and what they'll do is, they'll get businesses and pull them and do all that. But Donde Plowman, she wrote this letter, and Donde Plowman, she's the chancellor over at Tennessee, and she wrote a letter basically to the NCAA saying, basically calling them a bunch of liars, saying that they owe it to the student athletes to get a hard, fast set of rules, and they can't seem to do that to save their life. Is like to actually get hard, fast rules. And they say, she went after them. And then this morning, the Commonwealth of Virginia and the state of Tennessee, their legislators went after the NCAA. And it's like, what do you think about this? Do you think that that colleges and states as a whole are going to say, heck with you, NCAA, we're about had it with you?
It's getting there.
I genuinely think so.
I bet. We're sitting here holding my dad's 30-30 and your dad's 30-30, and after a while we're going to try to shoot him some. Yeah. I have not shot this, and I put a scope on it, a Nikon scope. But I bet she carried her dad's 30-30. The way she talked.
I bet.
I bet she did.
I bet she did, and I'm telling you right now, I think that, I think we've been really missing a chancellor or just some leadership at Tennessee that says not no, but heck no. We've done enough here. They said that Tennessee cooperated so well with the Jeremy Pruitt investigation that we set the standard for how to cooperate and do with the NCAA. And then 6 months later, we're supposedly, you can't run an institution. It's like, come on now.
Was you on Twitter and part of that Toronto Sunday?
Yes, that Shiano Sunday. Yeah, Shiano, charade Shiano.
It's been in a burr in their saddle. These, Is the coffee okay?
Oh, the coffee's good.
Is it? Good deal. The first pot in there. But they've had heartburn and mad at us, as the fan base.
They have.
And they've multiplied it and magnified it. So a lot of that's got to do with this.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, you look, of course, our basketball program didn't look good last night.
How about that? But we'll get into that here in a second.
Yeah, but for the most part, baseball's coming up, basketball coming up.
Yep.
Football is on the swing.
We've got everything in the top 20, top 15 about everything.
And you know what? When you do that, you scare them.
Mm-hmm.
You scare them. But they remember when
Tennessee
we was the beast of the East. Mm-hmm. And I tell you what, I really and truly, I'm disappointed in some things I've seen this year, but I really and truly feel like that we've got a quarterback.
Oh yeah.
And they know it.
Oh, Nico's. Let's shoot everybody straight. Iowa has a good defense. Iowa's top 10 in defense, I think. Mm-hmm. I believe. And Nico ran all over them and made them look like a bunch of hoodoos. Mm-hmm. And I mean bad. And James Pierce is coming out looking like one of the top defensive prospects in the country, from what I hear. And that's all Tennessee needs is a defense. If you can, you know, there's very rarely that Josh Heupel has had an offense averaging under 40 points. And I think last year was one of them, and there was another year, I think at Missouri or something. You know, check the stats on me. If I'm wrong, leave it in the comments. But what I'm trying to say is, if he can find a defense to keep someone under 21 points, could you imagine? I mean, and that with Saban leaving, we haven't even talked about that. Saban's gone. So what do you know? Tennessee, this is setting up to be a great era in Tennessee. That the opportunity is there,
and that scares them.
Absolutely. So what do you think about that? What do you think about Saban retiring in the NIL era? You know, do you think that's what killed him?
The NIL, and that I think is why he early retired. But as far as coaching wise, I think it's one of his best coaching jobs was this year.
Yeah, he didn't have a whole lot this year.
He had to manage a quarterback. He was kind of shuffling who to do what to make the playoffs, to beat Georgia in the SEC championship. And there's a lot of things that I don't understand about this new SEC. Mm-hmm. Are they going to have a championship and SEC championship? Is it going to be the best record? Are you ever going to play how many years is it going to take before you play everybody in? Will a graduate that stayed 4 years, will he have played everybody in the conference?
I don't know. I know they've got this pod system, and to be honest with you, I've forgotten. You know, I'll have to read up on it and get it again. I think we play Vanderbilt. I think we play Alabama. I'm not sure who else we play. I'm just genuinely, I don't know. But I know that things are going to rotate and all that, and it's going to be wild. It's going to be a wild ride, and I think that. But here's the thing: is there's a 12-team playoff. I think genuinely the goal this year is to be top 12. You make it to the playoffs this year, that's a win in my book, and I think that needs to be the goal with this team. I genuinely do.
Well, I think that's got something to do with what we're dealing with. Because if they can get, and most of this NIL, and they said there were several teams, or 17, but I think that if they can cause something to happen, that they jumpstart other teams out of these smaller conferences. I mean, I'm gonna tell you something. In the SEC,
yeah,
I don't care how much. That is a toll. That's a toll. You know, we're gonna have a lot of teams 9-3 Is that going to be good enough to get in the playoffs?
I don't know. That's going to be a hard. That's good. It creates drama, and that's what they're wanting.
Right.
So that's it. I mean, it's going to be. I'll be paying attention to it. So, what do you think about that coffee?
Hey man, that's good. That's good.
What'd you say? Starbucks eat your heart out on that?
Eat your heart out.
I love it. I love it. But I think it'll be really, really wild.
I believe that's Black Rifle coffee.
Is that Black Rifle? Oh,
I get
love it.
Black Rifle. I love it.
It's
I
good
think it's
stuff.
Black Rifle coffee.
I do too. Talk to me real quick about this basketball team. I know they lost last night, but let's focus on some good things. What do you think about this Dalton Connect feller?
I think he's something special.
I've never seen anything like it.
No, and I know that. I mean, he had an off night last night.
He scored 30 points, and that was his off night, though.
But he had an off night.
Yeah.
And I think, when he was throwing up bricks, so to speak, we needed to have somebody that could have took the pressure off him a little bit. I mean, he missed, and we didn't. We had one that missed right under the basket. I mean,
I remember seeing that.
Foul shot and the rim, and he wide open. And you got to take those. You got to win.
You got to win those. Yep.
And
I want to put some more stuff on. Talk to me.
But yeah, I hope that you don't need to lose a home game. I think they said like 20,000. I was watching on Stevie. Mom was with me, and she hadn't watched the game in forever, but she got into the game. It's hard to keep her attention on about anything anymore. She'll be 96.
96.
And she was there. We was rooting them on last night, but I had not get to keep up with them much. And I hear how good this and is and that and is. So I thought, man, let's watch them.
Of course.
I felt like Peyton Manning. I felt like, okay, am I going to be a jinx here?
But let me tell you, they've done good. What happened last night is Dalton Connect, he scored 30 points, but you got to have more from your other role players, and they just didn't have anything. Zakai Ziegler didn't score very much. Josiah Jordan-James didn't. Adu didn't really score a whole. You just don't have not Adu, but Meshack didn't score a whole lot, and they've just got to have more. And they had an off night, and they only lost by I think 4 or 5 points. So even with an off night, they were still close. So they've got to win. They've got to really win in Kentucky Saturday. That's going to be the key. But here's the thing. Don't freak out about midweek losses. It all matters what you do in tournaments. Period. End of sentence. Right now, this is just kind of playing.
I'm hoping that we'll pick up chemistry. Yeah, I mean, don't want to call any bad stuff in, but what if?
I know.
What if?
I know. You're right. I heard that. Well, what else about Tennessee? We got basketball starting, and we'll get back on next week, but. We'll talk to you guys
about baseball.
Baseball starting. What do you think about baseball so far?
I'm excited about baseball. I think we're gonna make some noise.
Make some noise. You think we'll make it to Omaha?
I hope so. I mean, I know we lost. The shortstop, he's not there, is he?
I'm not sure. You need to tell me about baseball. So if you guys didn't already know, Steve Turkey Man is the baseball aficionado. He coached a little bit of baseball back in the day.
Yeah, I coached 6-year high school.
6-year high school, so he knows a little bit about baseball.
Yeah, about 8 or so, I guess, in the American Little League system.
A little bit.
About 8 years in American Little League system.
Yeah.
And 6 years in high school baseball. But I love the game of baseball.
Love the game of baseball.
I love football, but I mean, I feel like it's one of them things that if you can hit, if you can field, if you can throw, if you run, there's a place for you in baseball.
We can figure something out for you.
Yeah, yeah. You can look at the players. I can't remember the second baseman for Atlanta years ago, but he'd been a walk-on. He was a little guy, played second base. I mean, you know, he would be. Man, he worked at it, and it shows that if you work at anything, you can succeed.
Yep.